Film bros, you better watch out because I'm probably gonna use the words misogyny and feminism in this video. Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven and I love talking about horror. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be talking about the new thriller horror release, Watcher. But really quick, before we get into that, if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. So happy you found my channel. Hopefully you stick around for a while. For those of you that are returning though, welcome back. I'm very happy to see you again. So Watcher is the feature film directorial debut of Chloe Okuno. Hopefully I said that right. It stars Micah Monroe as Julia, who moves to Bucharest with her husband Francis because of his work. Francis is fluent in Romanian, but Julia is not, so she's struggling to get acclimated when she notices a man watching her from the apartment complex across the street. Meanwhile, women are being murdered by an unknown serial killer around the city. So because of the subject matter, this movie had me tense from the get-go. Most women and feminine presenting people are pretty used to the like get your keys out before you even leave a building kind of mentality, always being aware of your surroundings, parking in well-lit areas, feeling of being watched throughout the whole film. That we're experiencing through Julia had my heart beating really fast. And this was made more frightening because Julia seemingly does everything right. She tells her husband as soon as she really feels something is not right. She gets in touch with the police. Obviously they're not very helpful, but at least she tried. And she tells her neighbor as well. So she's like talking to people, telling them about it, asking for help and just asking to be believed. And still nobody helps her. That part was pretty predictable. I mean, we're used to seeing this type of thing in horror and thriller movies, especially the kind of like hysterical woman, she's not to be believed sort of idea. It's made even more frustrating by Francis, who's using the logic of a person who has never felt unsafe out in public before, let alone on a regular basis. And then obviously the stalker character is pretty terrifying. The tagline on the movie really stuck out to me. The tagline is "Evil wants to be seen." I feel like it kind of sets up the way this guy acts throughout the movie. He's caught quite a few times throughout the film, and it feels like he's almost confident in the way that society works, that she's not going to be believed anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And eventually he's going to get her alone in a situation where he could do her harm. That all felt very appropriate for the time because I feel like all the shitheads of the world are getting more and more comfortable with saying the quiet parts out loud. This felt reflected in the stalker character, who even when caught red-handed doesn't panic, doesn't run. He's that confident in what he's doing, and it's pretty fucking scary to see. I did think the movie was well paced, even though the plot was maybe a little bit predictable, but everything builds to a climax that I wasn't expecting, so it did pull out a few surprises there. The resolution was something a little bit different that I haven't seen too many times in film. Obviously I'm not going to tell you what happens because that would be actual spoilers, but I was pleasantly surprised by the way the film ended. There was in there a little like fun callback to a piece of information we're given pretty early on in the movie that at the time I thought was just a kind of almost a useless piece of information. I was like, oh, okay, that's like, I guess a fun little backstory tidbit, but I don't really see how that applies to anything else going on in the movie. And I didn't even realize it when it happened in the film, like, because the end is, I don't want to say like it's abrupt, but it ends rather quickly. And it hit me on the drive home from the movie theater that I was like, oh, that was pretty clever. I'll try and explain that better maybe in my Letterboxd wrap up for June later on. Give everyone a chance to see the movie first. What I'm trying to say though is that there were some clever details written into the script that kind of seemed innocuous at first and ended up coming into play in a really clever way later on, so I appreciated that. I also dug the setting a whole lot. The foreboding European, like overcast, like rainy, gloomy setting reminded me of movies like Possession, and the apartment that Julia and Francis stay in with their big as fuck windows, like they pretty much take up the entire wall. Really striking compared to how tiny Micah Monroe is. But like I said, the windows take up most of the apartment walls, which is a really lovely idea in theory, but seem like a nightmare because anyone across the street can see like literally everything unless you have curtains. It definitely drives home that feeling of being watched constantly, like you're just like in a fishbowl or a terrarium and everyone can see you and watch you, and it's very unsettling. Overall, I thought this was an effective and ultimately satisfying thriller. I said some bits were predictable, and that's the only reason it's getting a 4.5 out of 5. As of Friday afternoon of the opening weekend for Watcher, it has a 6.7 on IMDb, an 84% critic score, and an 80% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Both of those scores are under 100 reviews, and on Letterboxd it has a 3.4. If you went out and saw Watcher this weekend, let me know what you thought in the comments, and definitely stay tuned for details on when my June Letterboxd wrap-up will be, and we'll talk all the spoilers there. And I'll recap everything else I watched during the month, including stuff I don't make full videos for on my channel. I do hope you enjoyed this video though. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, become a Creepy Peep today. I post 2 new videos every week, and I do lives every month and collabs. It's a fun time. It's a great time to be a Creepy Peep. I will see you very soon with a new video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.